Yeah. I'm doing my time-lapse painting today without being time-lapsed. Just for fun. Sometimes I just feel the need to talk to myself. I listen to a lot of podcasts and people talking about stuff all the time. So much so, probably more than talking to like actual people. I mean, like, not that they're not actual people. More than talking to any of my real friends, in life, if there are any left. But yeah. So I just kind of think that enough podcasts that now I've been like writing comments and shit on people's videos that are probably way too long and don't get responded to, and it's just like, dude, why am I sharing all this information with these people I don't even actually know just because I've heard them talk about stuff so much that it's as if I feel like I know them because we resonate on so many things and shit. But ultimately, I don't really know these people. And it's like a whole P. Diddy scenario. Because power corrupts, so once you start getting like this big following, I'm sure some part of you, gets a little, I don't know. What do I know? I've got nothing. So, I live in a truck. And I think I did this on purpose, like taking the, what's his name? Henry Darger's School of Success in the Arts. That's where I studied. That you spend, your entire life working as like a janitor and not talking to anybody, and then you go home and you draw shit in your apartment at night, and you're like immersed in this world of yours, and it's awesome, and you really love it, and all these things are happening in that world, but you experience it alone, and the world doesn't experience it until, your landlady just so happens to find all your work and then publishes a book about it. I feel like that kind of success I could deal with because I wouldn't be there. I'd be dead already. So I'd be saved from the whole process of, getting sucked up into your own head and all that shit. Probably the same reason why none of my music really took off or any of that shit. Like, I've been subconsciously avoiding any type of, quote-unquote establishmentarianism kind of success in the world because I don't want to have to deal with the machine that consumes people, because cannibalism is really what's going on when it comes to quote-unquote fame. It's cannibalism. You're being devoured by the world, and when you're devoured by the world, what's left of you to sustain yourself, because you're being devoured by the world, and you're dealing with something that's like an entire system, a giant fucking huge energy. Okay, so P. Diddyify this whole thing. Prince was always very anti the system because corporations were taking control of everything he spent his life making. So he was very angry about that. Understandably so. It's your fucking music. Why can't you have your own music? It's your fucking music. It's just like when you go and try and upload something somewhere on a certain site or whatever, and then when you go to like listen to your own thing, you can't because it's been uploaded onto that site, and it's like they've taken your copyright to it or whatever, which is why I'm pretty convinced that that's what the whole AI thing is about too. Because if you make anything with AI takes the copyright, so it doesn't belong to you anymore. Which is probably like that for everything you post online. But if, worse comes to worse and you had to go to court about anything ever, you would discover that somewhere buried deep down in that terms and conditions bullshit is the corporation saying anything you put here belongs to us and it's not yours and you can't make any money off it. So fuck you, artist and individual person. Because everything is stacked against an artist and an individual. In capitalist society, everything. It's you against the giant machine head that George Orwell warned us about forever ago. By the way, not all propaganda is art, but all art is propaganda. My new favorite word is propaganda. Yes. So, oh, wait, no. And my new favorite phrase, none of this has anything to do with any other part of it, is, my new favorite phrase is quantum phenomenon. So here's some quantum phenomenon for you. Back when I live in a truck, so I've been driving around the whole country for the last 10 years. I've now lived in a truck longer than I lived in any actual housey house in my entire life, because I've always been moving, grew up in the military, blah-de-blah-de-blah. So yeah, now I have lived in this truck longer than I lived in any house, because I feel safer in a truck than I ever did in any housey house, because nobody has access to my body. And usually people, when my door's closed, I roll up doors down, nobody knows I'm in here, so I'm safe. First time ever. I was like, oh, it's a strange feeling. What is this weird feeling I'm having, Sadie? I said to my dog. I was like, oh my God, I feel safe. What's that like? And now that that's being threatened to take away, that's being threatened to be taken away from me, as, the big, swooping evilness of, right-wing agendas. Going to sweep us all off the street for being crazy criminals or whatever the fuck they're calling us, even though I am neither a criminal nor am I nearly as insane and disconnected as a certain orange clown. A certain orange clown. So I don't really want to lose my house, because that would suck. Yeah, because I'll be good goddamned if I have to fucking spend the rest of my life in an asylum or a prison or a fucking work camp or whatever the fuck the Nazis want to call it. Anyway, never mind all that. I was talking about Prince. So, Prince, yeah. When I was living in Cincinnati, I was doing my laundry one day, and, I've been sober and clean and sober for a while. So when I became clean and sober, it's like the psychic radio turned on, because I couldn't block it out anymore, which is probably the reason why what was behind not being clean and sober most of my life, because I didn't want to deal with that shit, which is probably the case for a lot of people, actually. So when I got clean and sober, it was like on full blast all the fucking time. And I always had this noise in my head. It was like shh, which could be tinnitus from all the punk shows I went to in life, or it could be, I don't know what the fuck it is, but it's always like shh, like this static in my head. And it suddenly went quiet, and that's always when I notice that static is when it goes away. It's weird. I was folding my laundry in the laundromat, and 1999 came on the radio. Pretty much everybody in there was singing along with it, and then the static went away in my head. I was like, uh-oh. And then all of a sudden I heard really loudly, Prince is going to die soon. I was like, oh no! And I was like, oh, that's weird. That's a weird thing to hear all of a sudden for no reason. And about 2 weeks later, he was dead. So, at the time I was like, whoa, it was super weird. And I thought maybe I could just tell when people were going to die soon or something. And I didn't really put much beyond it. When George Michael died, I was like, how come I didn't hear George Michael was going to die before he died? That was kind of weird. But now that we are discovering through the P. Diddy court case that Prince was more likely unalived by the boys that work for the P, because he had so much evidence and against what that gnarly dude was doing to all those people. Now it makes way more sense that I would have tapped in to Prince being taken off of this mortal coil, because of his wanting to be an advocate for those being abused that could not speak up for themselves. Because, that's my heart lies there all the time, and has forever. That's why I was always the first person to, bitch about sexual harassment on the job or whatever, even though my coworkers would be like, I'll totally got your back, dude. I'll totally stand up to you. And then they always back down right when it gets hard. But I don't care. So not caring is what always makes me go, well, fuck you. I'm going to say something. And then I do, because I've been sexually harassed at 49 of my 50 jobs in life. So, yeah, you get what you settle for, yo. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know what I'm painting. I never do. I never know what I'm painting. Just painting because it feels good. Okay, so anyway, Prince. Yeah. I have so much love for him right now. I'm so happy that he did what he did. I just really wish that people, I mean, there's a certain like awesomeness to the fact that, you get to be in a court case and speaking the truth when you're already dead. That's pretty rad. We can only ever hope to be that powerful that we can speak truth to power after we're dead. But yeah, that's cool. But also, it really just makes me wish that all the women that ever say anything would be even half as much believed and not fucking abused in the process of saying what the fuck happened to them as much as we believe men. That just fucking pisses me off like nobody's business. Like, the instant assumption that if women are believed, that is gonna, like, somehow fucking fuck over a dude way too easily. Anyway, you all, I'm sure, know already by now that 2020 marked the official end of the patriarchal system. When I heard that, I was all, fuck yeah, I've been waiting 5,000 years for this. And then COVID happened. I was like, uh-oh, part of the process. It's all starting now. And of course, that's how I've been looking at it the whole time. All this fucking chaos is just a part of the process of the reharmonization on the entire planet for the returning queen of divine feminine yin, the great mother of all creation. Because originally she was a woman, and she was a woman for a very, 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 very long time. Until about, a little more than, 10, 20,000 years ago or whatever. Dudes finally found out, unfortunately, because women kept it from them for a long time, that they had anything to do with making babies. So they would just let them play their video games, and they didn't tell them. But then eventually, dudes found out that they did have something to do with the birthing process. And, that's why they always had, like, severe womb envy, because women could make babies inside their bodies magically. And, that's why they shouldn't be allowed to make anything else, a sculptor once told me, which is why most women were not as, like, successful at art as men were, because women can make babies, so they shouldn't be allowed to make anything else. He actually said those words to me. I was fucking almost shat my pants when I heard that shit. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? All of this fucking bullshit in life has been because of womb envy? Oh my god. It's horrible. Wow. It's all just because of womb envy. Yep. So sad. So terribly sad. Anyway, yeah. Things in life are like that. But also, things in life are not what they seem. Quantum phenomenon. Because usually, it is in the deepest, darkest places that you find the greatest gift of everything. And you can't find it unless you're going through hell. So you have to go through hell to get there. Sorry, but it's true. Oh God, I say that giggling, and yet, every part of me is filled with terror and dread. But that's okay. As long as you know that your fear is only temporary, and you can breathe through it, then you'll be fine. Just stay present. Don't freeze up when they come to try and get you with their big boots on. It's just stay present. Okay? Alright. What are we doing? Nothing. We're making a baby. Look, we made a baby! Since I don't have any actual living children of the human nature, I make paper children. I make paper children. Because I'm fairly convinced also, with the whole P. Diddy thing, and some things that I've also heard from trafficked individuals in the world, that, there are some children who have been bred specifically for that purpose, which is the most fucking disgusting thing I've ever heard in life. They don't even have birth certificates. They're just funneled straight into the machine of being, invaded for however long until they're killed. It's horrible. So, the deepest, darkest parts of humanity would be people that do that kind of thing to other people and have no guilt or shame about it because, they're powerful and they want to stay powerful. So, like priests and shit. Yeah. So, I'm just saying that's probably, the darkest part of our whole, because it's like war, but it's like on a inside the house basis, It's like a private little war, because all the effects that you have in your body are the same as if you went to war afterwards, So, pretty gnarly. And the one thing that nobody seems to want to admit, and also the reason why I think Roe v. Wade was overturned, because that would create so many unwanted children that there would be like this glut of, available fucking trafficky type of people, kids mostly, that you could fucking, it's disgusting. That was my first thought when I was like, they're overturning this shit so that we don't, it's just gross. It's really gross what power does to stay in power. And since it's getting all super bipolarization is getting even more bipolar-y lately, have you noticed? It's going to get really fucking ugly, dude. And that's, they're going to try even harder to hold on to power, which of course they're not going to be able to, because it's inevitable that everything has to change. Everything always has to change. There is no staying the same ever, So it's just going to get more and more ridiculous until everybody's like, oh wait, we are dreaming. This is all a dream. And that we all actually have way more control over shit than we think we do. So, my aching desire in life is for everyone to start lucid dreaming. Because if you can start to control your dreams, then you start to open up to your whole unconscious map. And the more you know your own unconscious, it's like, oh my god, it's the coolest thing I've ever experienced, for sure. Besides death. Death was really cool, which is what that cartoon is that I was putting out all over the place. Death. Coolest thing ever. Or coming back from it, for sure, because now I've got all these little side effects of having died. That for a long time, I thought was such a curse, being super sensitive to shit, hearing things I didn't want to hear, seeing things I didn't want to see. But now I've kind of finally accepted it, because ultimately, if you like the show Big Mouth, Nick Kroll's show Big Mouth cartoon, self-acceptance, self-compassion, honestly, they're the most important things that you can ever master in your life. And you probably will never master it, because it's hard to master those things, because life keeps throwing new shit at you. So, yeah, staying balanced in the crux between thinking you've mastered something and knowing you'll never know anything. So why even bother talking about it? Which is why she now pushes stop. Goodbye. Thanks for listening. Oh, my back hurts. Okay, bye.